Hey guys, this is a Maximum Vapage with Gypsy Jen. I'm Gypsy Jen. For those of you who are not aware, I have a live show on Tuesday evenings on Vapors TV on the Dreamcast Network. It's from 8 to 10 on Tuesday nights. I'll be sure to link that up in the description below. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newest flavor from Leviathan e-liquids. The name of the flavor is Jormungander, the Midgard Serpent. It is a cake type vape. For those of you who are not familiar with the way that I do juice reviews, let me give you a little bit of information. When I first started vaping several years ago, and all of the juice reviewers were coming out, and you could find all of the up and coming and reputable juices with a review video, at least one review videos on YouTube. I was a little discouraged in the fact that there weren't many people doing reviews that were that had the newer vapor in mind. Most everything was set up for geared more towards the more advanced vapors, which was a little bit frustrating to me, because at the time when I first started vaping, when you're shopping in a brick and mortar, it's not that much of a big deal, because you can sample the liquids while you're there. But when you're shopping online for e-liquids, pretty much the only thing you can base your opinions on are reviews. And I was really disappointed because there weren't many reviews of liquids being done using the type of devices that I was using. So trying to remember that when I do juice reviews, I like to try and review the same liquid using several different devices, so that even though I may not be reviewing using the exact device that you are using, you should be able to find something in one of the devices that I'm using that's similar to what you're using, so that you can know the review that I'm giving you is going to be more accurate for your device. As we all know, taste is a very subjective thing, and depending on what type of device you're using, you can have a very different experience with the same liquid, versus if you were using a totally different device with that same liquid. So, having said that, the one and only liquid I'm going to be reviewing today is the Jormungander, the Midgard Serpent, which here is what the bottle looks like, from Leviathan e-liquids. I'd like to point out that Leviathan e-liquids is a newer company. In my experience with them, they sent me 3 bottles to review on my show on the Dreamcast Network, and I was so impressed with the liquids that they sent me that I went back and bought the rest of them in 30 milliliter bottles. So yeah, good stuff. So Leviathan e-liquids Jormungander, the Midgard Serpent. On the label, you have a warning which says, "Warning, this product contains nicotine. Keep away from children and pets. Avoid direct exposure to skin and eyes. If ingested, immediately seek medical attention. Ingredients: PGVG, natural and artificial flavorings. For a detailed ingredients list, please visit www.leviathaneliquids.com." And then on the front, it has some really great artistry, the name of the company, the name of the liquid, and then on the side, it has your PGVG ratio, your nicotine level, and a born-on date, which I am more and more seeking out liquids that have born-on dates on them, just because it, you have a better idea of what you're getting. There's so many juice companies out there now that the ones that don't have born-on dates, you don't know if it's pre-steeped, especially if it doesn't say so on their website. So I really like that they have the born-on dates on here. This particular liquid is in a 3 milligram per milliliter nicotine level, and it is a 40 PG 60 VG blend. Leviathan's e-liquids, their standard mix is a 50-50. However, you can get your liquids from them in a pretty big variety of PG-VG ratio. You can get anything from, I believe it's 80 PG, 20 VG, all the way to 80 VG, 20 PG. And I'd also like to point out that they do their nicotine level a little bit differently. I've never seen anyone else do this, as a matter of fact. Their nicotine options are everything from 0 nicotine all the way up to 24 milligrams per milliliter. So you can get 1 milligram, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way on up to 24. So that would be really handy for someone who is looking at stepping their nicotine level down. I know I personally had a big problem when I was switching from 12 milligrams for e-liquids down to 6. I found myself a lot of times having to buy 2 bottles of the same liquid and mixing them together. I was buying a bottle of 6 and buying a bottle of 12 and mixing them together to get that happy in between, because 12 was a little bit too much for me, and I was wanting to step down to 6, but 6 was not quite enough. So the fact that they have that option of any nicotine level, I think is a great thing. So let's get started on the actual review. The first device I'm going to be using to review this liquid is a Vision Spinner with the ProTank 3 on top. This would be the equivalent of anyone who's still using an Ego style or a pen style, sometimes are called, device. I've got this set on 3.7 volts, which is pretty much the lowest setting on here. So it would be a very, true to real life experience for someone who's just getting started out, or someone who still likes the Ego style devices. So let's give it a vape and see how it is. The initial taste you get with the Jormungander is cake. Vanilla cake all day long. Even in this style device, it's a 60-40 liquid, 60 VG. It's very flavorful, even in a beginning style device like this. The vapor production is pretty decent. Yeah, that reminds me of a Duncan Hines yellow cake all day. Even with this type of device, it's a very satisfying vape. You get it's cake through and through, from the beginning all the way to the end, from the beginning of the exhale to the very end of the exhale. That's yellow cake. That's what that is in this device. So now let's take a look at it in the next level up device. We're going to be using a 20-watt iStick with a Nautilus on top. And I'm going to have this set at, let's set this at 16 watts. Okay, at the higher watts, with this device versus the Ego style device, you get more of the little details of the liquid. It's much richer. It's still cake, but on the initial inhale, you get this sort of creamy, buttery, almost like a frosting. And then through the exhale, you get a yellow cake, but it's more than just a yellow cake. It's almost like a yellow cake with an added little something there. Very satisfying vape. Extremely satisfying vape. There's no bitterness. There's no... Sometimes some bakery flavors, which I love bakery flavors, but I've noticed that some bakery flavors can have a little bit of a dryness to them, and this does not have that. This is very reminiscent of taking a big bite out of a moist piece of yellow cake with some great creamy sweet frosting on top. For the bakery and dessert style vapors, this, I would say that the Jormungander could easily be an all-day vape. It has great saturation of flavor, but it's not so saturated that you could get burned out on it real easily. I personally am more of a flavor chaser than I'm a cloud chaser, but sometimes with flavors that have the bold in-your-face flavors, at least myself, I can get burned out on them. Vape them for an hour or so, and then I'm like, yeah, I just don't want that anymore. This, since I bought this bottle, actually, which I, have 20 or 30 different flavors that I vape on, depending on what day it is. I got this bottle 4 or 5 days ago, and I've already vaped about, I'd say, probably a good 7 or 8 milliliters of it. So, yeah, this could easily be an all-day vape for the bakery style vapor. Very flavorful. Very, very flavorful. So now let's take the same liquid and use it in a dripper, mechanical style mod. This is a Nemesis with the still air on top. And I'm running a dual coil, and it's just a simple build in here, which it reads out to be about 0.6 ohms. Wow. Okay. Next level up flavor. You get when using it in this dripper, I'm getting some great flavors that I didn't get in either of the other two devices. It's almost like a, those little sprinkles is what I would call it. You get the yellow cake predominantly, but there's definitely a buttery, creamy frosting type flavor and like sprinkles on top. That is such a satisfying vape. And for this to be a 60-40 liquid, which depending on what I'm vaping, I'd say probably 70% of the time I tend to vape 50-50 liquids. Sometimes I'll go with the Max VG liquids, and then sometimes I do a more in between like this. But for this to be a 60-40 liquid, the vapor production on this is outstanding. That's really tasty. Super, super tasty. It's such a clean cake flavor, and it has just enough flavor left over that'll carry you through. Like it doesn't leave any kind of bad aftertaste in your mouth. It has that nice, just like when you're eating a piece of cake, you know, and you take your bite and chew it up and you swallow it and you still have that wonderful bakery, buttery goodness left flavor-wise. This is the exact same way. Fan-fucking-tastic liquid. Yeah, I can't say enough about that. That's just fantastic. So let's take a look at Leviathan e-Liquid's website. As you can see, this is the main page. The web address is www.leviathaneliquids.com. They have all your standard stuff up at the top: contact us, privacy policy, terms and conditions, wholesale increase, blog, shipping and returns. And you have this nice scroll bar right across the top here. On the left, categories, about us, e-liquid, ingredients list, specials, and the process. Now, I like to point out that not only does Leviathan do something that I haven't seen anywhere else with the nicotine levels, but they also provide an ingredient list with all of their liquids. So let's click on that on the left-hand side and take a look at it. Ingredient list. Please note this is not a complete ingredient list for two main reasons. Our suppliers will not provide complete ingredient lists due to trade secrets, and as of right now, we personally cannot perform lab tests or chemical analysis on our products. So then it goes down to the bottom, and they have each flavor listed along with the ingredient listings, which is fantastic, especially for those of you who may be worried about using diacetyl in your liquids or any of the other acetyls in your liquids. You can see that there's never any of that in any other liquids, and each of the flavors, like I said, has everything listed right here, which is just, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce half the stuff because I can't pronounce it, but yeah, I'd like to point out that that's just fantastic. So let's go to the e-liquids category and see what Leviathan has to say about Jormungander. So for a 30 milliliter bottle, it's $14.95. And their options are either 15 milliliter, which is $8.95, or the 30 milliliter. And then you can see here with the nicotine strength, what I was showing you with all of the different options. It goes all the way up to 24 milligrams per milliliter. So there's that, and then their PG-VG ratio, like I said, goes from 20 PG all the way up to 20 VG, and everything in between. So their product description is reminiscent of moist confetti cake topped with smooth vanilla buttercream frosting. So yeah, I was pretty spot on with the liquid. You can see also this company, I love the imagery that they use. They have that dark imagery, and you can tell that this company definitely spends a lot of time with product development. It's not just a company that you know, is slapping stuff together and that's it. Very well put together products, very thought out, very well balanced flavors. I'll definitely be reviewing other Leviathan e-liquids as often as I can. They don't have a ton of flavors to choose from, which is a great thing in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I think the companies that have a lot of flavors, that's great too, but this is the company that definitely has developed more specialized flavors. They're not just a, you know, single flavor, which there's nothing wrong with those, but all of the flavors that Leviathan e-liquids has offered that I've had, which I've had all of them, they're very specialized. They're very boutique-y, I guess is the word I'm looking for. It's not just like, you know, it's just not like a Walmart where you go in and you see 50 million of the same thing. Everything that Leviathan e-liquids offers is a very well-balanced flavors, you know, with great options. So that is my review for Leviathan e-liquids Jormungander, the Midgard Serpent. And I'd like to invite you guys, if you like the video, to subscribe to the channel and click on the like button. Also, you can catch my show on Tuesday nights on Vapors TV at Dreamcast from 8 to 10 p.m. And I'll link up Leviathan e-liquids and a link to the show in the description below. And yeah. So thanks for checking out the video, and I'd love to see y'all's comments. Thank you. Have a good one.